Hey there YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Mikey speaking. Today I got Dallas County for you and programs that will help you save thousands of dollars when buying a house in Dallas County. Now, as a quick heads up, a lot of these are going to be grants that I actually found, which is good because loans you have to pay back, grants you don't. You have, I want to say, about two different grants, one being just a regular standard grant, you don't have to pay that money back, and one being a grant with conditions attached to it. I'm going to bring you over to the computer so you can kind of see what programs are out there and hopefully you get to use one of them. And if you know anyone in your county that can use this information, please send this to them. And if you know of anyone else in any other county or any other state that might need their information for their state and their county, please let me know. I'll be happy to make a video about that one. Anyways, enough babbling. Let's get to the computer. All right, I have 4 programs I want to say for Dallas, which there were tons more. These were the ones that I just found to be the best. Starting off with the one I always usually start off with, the Bank of America First Time Home Buying Program. You have the American Home Grant, which is for closing costs, $7,500 it helps with. You do not have to do an educational class for these, but keep in mind that most of these programs are going to be area restricted. So they're going to dictate kind of what zip code, what areas you can buy a house in using these programs. And so the home buying class is not required and you do not have to be a first-time home buyer to use this program. The next one, which you can actually use these two together, fingers crossed, is the down payment grant. So the first one's for closing costs. This one's for the down payment itself. It'll cover $10,000 or 3%, whichever is less. Again, you do not have to pay this money back because it is a grant. You do not have to be a first-time home buyer, but you do have to take the educational class, and this income that you got or this amount you got will be taxed. So keep that in mind. Actually, I had a quick disclaimer here. Also keep in mind that a lot of these you have to use certain loans like conventional, FHA, VA. So contact these banks before you start applying for loans and figure out what you need to do to be able to qualify. All right. And just so you know, the description below will have the links to all of these, as well as phone numbers for the Dallas specific ones. For the Bank of America, you just contact Bank of America normally, and the Chase one, which is last, will also just contact Chase. But for the Dallas's ones, those specific ones, I want to say I have the email and phone number that will be attached, as well as the website in the description. So take a look for that. All right. My favorite one by far is this Dallas one. Now there's going to be 2, so don't, actually let's go to the first one, or technically the next one. We'll do this one next. So the Dallas Home Buying Assistance Program, you do need to complete an educational class, and these do take longer than conventional loans, which you may end up having to get a conventional loan, but these will take on average at least 45 days or more. It does say that in there. And this is a grant, but this is one of those grants I was telling you with conditions. So in the paperwork, they're going to have that you have to own the house for X amount of days. As long as you own X amount of days, X amount of years. So let's, as an example, I don't know exactly how long it's going to be. It's discussed at that time. As long as you own the house, let's say they said for 10 years, you own it for all 10, then that money you borrowed from them, you don't have to pay back at all. And they also do it prorated because they understand situations show up. So let's say you borrowed $20,000 and you kept the house for 5 years instead of 10 years, then you have to pay back $10,000. The other 10 is X'd off, prorated for the amount of years you lived in there. So it is a grant, but with conditions. They expect you to live in the house for X amount of years to be determined. And they offer you up to $45,000 of assistance to sit here, pay the down payment and closing costs and bring down your monthly payments. But it's case by case. It's not like they'll just give you the full 45. They figure out your scenario and then they base off what your scenario is, how much you need. Now, you will have to contact them, submit some documents so they can figure that out. And this one didn't say anything about being a first-time home buyer, so I'm not sure on that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they had that on there. I would call and ask. Actually, this number here is going to be for both of these. So this one here is a very similar program. It's the Home Buyers Incentive Program. And this one's specifically for healthcare workers educational instructors, library occupants, police officers, I want to say was on here, it's weird, protective services, to include firefighters and police officers. So it's mainly for those individuals that assist, that their job's a bit more dangerous. Not saying that anyone's job isn't dangerous, because construction's dangerous, but it's what they have here. Sorry. For this one, you have to have between a 60 and 20 AMI. Again, they help out with about 45,000 case by case scenario. This is a grant, but you will have to pay it back if you don't meet their terms and conditions. And please keep in mind, if I'm wrong on any of this information, I'm just pulling this information off of their websites, and from calling them, this is what I was told. So if I'm wrong on any of this, I am sorry. Call them, ask them the hard questions, please do, and let me know what you get. The educational course is required, and here goes the contact information. Again, both of these programs help with about $45,000 or less. And for this one, you have to be in one of these occupancies. This one you do not. The last one is the Chase program. This one helps you out with $2,500. You don't have to pay it back because it is a grant. No course is required, and does not inform me about whether you have to be a first-time home buyer or not, so I don't know. The only one that really says it is going to be the Bank of America one, where it says you do not have to be a first-time home buyer. And a lot of programs are starting, at least from what I'm realizing when I'm doing this research, a lot of programs are steering away completely from being a first-time home buyer and making it conditional. Because you could have owned a house in a year, by most standards. If you owned a house in the past year, even if you already sold it, you're still considered a home buyer because you haven't not owned a house in the past 3 years. So it's like, yeah. So the standard's kind of weird, but there are programs out there. So if you contact these individuals, programs for Dallas, and they say, hey, you don't qualify because you're not a first-time home buyer or any other reason, contact Bank of America. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer. It does have restrictions on what areas you can buy in, but it does say that Dallas County is acceptable for using their grant, both of them, for the closing costs and the down payment. Something to keep in mind. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next one, hope you have a good day. Bye.